Hello again, and it's time for another project. Today we're going to do some scroll saw work, and the idea is to cut out this love sign, which is basically an arrow that's been twisted and turns. We've got the feathers at that end, and we've got the nice arrow head at that end. The idea is to scroll saw it out on this 1/4 inch pine. It measures 16 inches by 6 inches, so it's a nice size. It could be a little bit fragile, this one, so we're going to have to take it careful. Now, ideally for me, I normally just stick the template on here. You could carbon and paper around that one just as easy, but I don't intend making any more of these, so I'm just going to stick it on and see how we cut over the paper. Before that, we have to line the wood with painter's tape, literally cover that up, and then we'll spray on some glue, any glue you like. Stick that to it like so, once that's stuck down. And then we'll drill some pilot holes, literally for these inner cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that will allow us to pop our blade through. And we'll cut out all these inner sections first, just so you've got a nice surround of wood to keep it more secure. And then hopefully we'll go round it all and literally cut it all out. And ideally, if it's still in one piece, we shall get the Dremel out with our little sanding drums on, sanding paper, anything we can find, and we'll start sanding in either side of these lines just to give it a bit more of a 3D effect. And then we'll see how far we get as regards to how we're going to finish it, if it's going to end up on a backer or if we're just going to let it be freestanding. But we'll see how far we get with the project first. Once for cutting it out, I'm going to use the spiral blade. These are ideal little blades. They are spiraled all the way up, so you can literally cut it in any direction. So if that was on there, we could literally just start in this corner like this and just feed that across all the way around, up, down, and then feed it all the way back again. Nice and easy. If it's a standard blade, you would have to come in here and then turn it, and then turn it to go up there, and then twist and turns. A lot of turnings. Some people are fantastic on them. I just, they're not for me. So I'm preferring the spiral blade. And there's a lot of people hate those. Okay, let's stick this template down. Drill our pilot holes in. And then we'll start cutting out with our spiral blade. Okay, you can see from that, we've had our tape on, we stuck our template on. The drill was playing up a bit drilling these, but we got through okay. I just don't think it was plugged in securely enough. We put our spiral blade in, remember. I have to use these adapter brackets on my old Draper saw. All your modern ones now, they just twist and lock release. So don't let that put you off. They are a bit of a pain, but you soon get used to them if that's all you have. We've got the blade in the right way because it's smooth on the way down, and it feels rough on the way up. That way, you know your blade's in the right way. We've popped it through our pilot hole, remember. So we're going to cut out these inner sections first, and then we'll cut out the full thing. And hopefully, he says, it'll still be in one piece. Okay, let's start cutting this one out. Okay, that's all our inner cuts done. Now people complain about these spiral blades, saying they're quite a rough cut. I don't know if you can see in there, but that's really smooth, is that? I've got no problems. Very dusty, I think that's the wood. And there's a great big knot in there that I'm having to cut out, so that could be an issue later. But if I just turn it over to show you, I mean, that's lovely and smooth in there. Look, I've not touched that with any sandpaper. You'll get these little edges, and that takes seconds to rub off with a bit of sandpaper. Okay, you can see from that, that's all our inner cuts done now. No problem. Now what I want to do is put it back on the saw and literally cut round all this. Very powdery, this wood, this pine one. Some woods are better than others. But you can see from that, it's taking shape. We'll continue then and cut out the surrounding area. Right, you can see from that, we made it all the way around. Very dusty wood, this one today, so I don't know what that is. Could just be the pine itself. So it's just a case of squeezing it out like so. I've not took it out yet. You can tell by all that dust there. Just to make it easier, you could just cut straight across there if you wanted to. But we're just going to pop it out. To me, this is always the best part, when you see it come out in one piece like so. Right, you can see from that we've removed all the paper. I've started to sand it down slightly just at the back to get rid of our little ruffly bits on the edges there. It's going off nice and easy. There's no real effort involved. I've gone around with a pencil just to mark off which sides we want to remove. So you imagine we've started there when we're drawing this on, so that would be underneath, and then you'll come over the top with that section, up there, underneath and over the top, underneath and over the top there. So I'm just going to sand out some at either side. We're not going to be able to go with the full thinness of this. I think it might just be a bit too delicate. And then we'll thin out the feather end, thin out the arrow, and we'll try and get it best we can so it looks like it's actually been made out of one piece without it being too fragile. Okay, for me, I'm going to start off good old sanding burrs for the Dremel. I use these on most of my projects. You can get a nice big bag full for next to nothing. I also like to use these engraving bits. These are really cheap eBay specials. They're safe for glass and metal, but I use these on wood all the time, and they work fine for those tight areas. And also these are carving bits. These might be a little bit savage today for this project, but you could find a small one like so, and that would cut down the side of there, no problem, just to give it enough 3D effect, if we can call it that. Right, that's enough sanding down for me. We get the general idea of what we're after. Now you could have got a lot thinner and actually gone the half the thickness of that and actually freed those sections underneath, but it would have just been a bit too delicate. You can see from that I've got that movement there, so we're going to have to put a backer on this one just to make it a bit more secure. Now I've already drawn around this one. Now what I do is literally just place that on there. You can hold it down in place, clamp it down if it's not in your way, and literally just get a little washer. I'm actually using one off the end of a Dremel sanding burr, depending how thickness of a backer you want. You can also go around sellotape, basically anything circular, and it's just a simple case of putting your pencil in there and drawing around like so. You just go all the way around the whole project, and that will give you basically the same shape to cut out to make as a backer. Now obviously I went for the smaller washer, so just make sure you keep it pressed down to the backer itself, and the same process, pop that in there, put your little pencil in, and literally just draw around everything like so. Yep, we'll get the general idea on that one, and then once you remove all that, we've got the perfect cutout to use as a backer. Okay, I'll cut this out exactly the same way as I cut that out, so there's nothing to see there, so I won't bother doing any recording of that. We'll come back when I've cut this out, sanded it down, and removed these middle sections, and then we're ready for painting and a bit of linseed oil before we attach it to the backer. I'll cut this out now and then come back when it's all done. Right, you can see from that we've made the backer. Remember, that was just cut out exactly the same as this one, the topper, so we didn't miss anything there. And the idea is that eventually will sit on there like so and make it nice and chunky. We'll get the better effect once the backer is done. Now for the backer, I'm going to try and use just some wood dye stain. Just a little bit left in there, just enough to do that. So we'll do that with darker. This will be slightly lighter with the boiled linseed oil on that one, hopefully. And all I'll do is use some acrylic paint and literally just paint black and white on the featherhead and a bit of grey on the tip. And then we'll work out how we're going to glue it down onto the backer as a permanent fixture, like that. If that wood dye doesn't work, we'll simply just paint the backer. Okay, I'll throw some of this stuff on now, and then we'll see what it's like as we head towards the finishing line. Okay, that's it. This little project is finished. Before I applied the top layer to the bottom, I put on 3 or 4, if not more, coats of crystal clear, just to give it a little bit of a shine. This is an indoor piece, this, by the way. And to make the two pieces stick together, you can use super glue, Gorilla Glue, tie band glue, is it? I actually just gave it a quick coat of some gloss varnish. The bottom section, with it being quite thick, the crystal clear just wasn't quite working out on these side sections. So I painted the varnish on the bottom section, and while it was still tacky, literally just pressed that on there and left it. And you can see from that, that's nicely solid. That's not going to go anywhere. I've used resin before in the past as well. So that's it. This little project is over. So it's a scroll sword, love arrow, 16 inches by just short of 7 inches high on recycled pine wood, I believe. Thank you very much for watching.